Perhaps if he had training, he would have been much more presentable, more likable, more reasonable. But we made him out to be a horror figure. I want to be your friend. Ha, ha, ha. And so it's the stereotype of that voice. I work out at a Y, and I hear people, I wonder why you say that, what you say, what do you mean by what you say? They talk like that. The voice is very, very dull. It is like Henry, and Henry, I would presume, hears himself and knows what he sounds like. Well, God to give us the gift to hear ourselves as others hear us. I'm of the view that Henry knows what he sounds like. When the situation is to be because wouldn't it be better if Henry sounded like James Bond, 007? Then I could understand Mimi Van Doren saying his batteries are not worn down. James Bond, of course, was a ladies' man. You can say it any way you want, but that's what is said in several terms. He was a ladies' man. A lot of things today are said, interestingly enough, and sex outs everywhere. Harold Robbins, whom I had the distinct pleasure to work with, and it was a pleasure to work with Harold Robbins, had lots of things to say that are unprintable. But I loved to listen to Harold Robbins and others who have been down the road, and they have a lot to say. Dracula has something to say, fictionalized, but demonized. Do we like demonized people? Do we like people like Paris Hilton out there doing her thing? She makes all the rounds of TV and the print media. We esteem people who are out there, and we are not taken with them, but we certainly follow them. What would happen if we found that Dracula really was a real person and brought us to the point of what he had in mind? And what was it he had in mind? That he had to live off the blood of others. Well, that's a figurative concept. I want to be your friend. I want to take a little bite. So if we modernize him and bring him up to par with what's going on, is it valid to say that Dracula represents the modern era? There is the expression by one of the lawyers I had the chance to work with. She says, once you give up your ethics, the rest comes easy. That's an interesting comment. And we make fun of lawyers and so forth, but do we make fun of ourselves, per se, for what we do ourselves, not making fun of others? Accents are in. We like, bien entendu, mais oui, we like a French accent, we like an English accent. We even like a German accent, vielleicht wie gehen spazieren, and so forth. And we talk like this because the accent, it gives us character. Our own voices may be nasal, we talk like that and so forth. We talk bland like that, raspy. It doesn't give us the character that an accent may give us, and so we will token to an accent when we don't have an accent. We want to put on an English accent, a French accent when we don't have one, and those who have the French and English accent, which is very charming, want to take it away because it makes them distinguished. Distinguished means it isolates them. It presents them as different than what is homogenized. We don't want to be that homogenized, and others do want to become homogenized. We want to be in fashion, and others don't. What does it do for you if you have a nasal voice, you talk like that? Do you think Dracula would like to talk with like that? If he goes to New York City and becomes a hematologist and works the night shift, would he be happy with that voice? I doubt it. But then again, do we like Woody Allen too long? Or do we like Woody Allen for a short period of time? Do we like the old voice, which is a character voice of Walter Brennan? You understand, boy, your father went wrong. Or do we like a voice such as Drac used? We create characters. We ourselves are players on the stage. And we create characters, and some of the characters are very enticing. I want to be your friend. I want to have you at the castle. And in a sense, it's very intriguing to see what these voices do for us and what they represent. Join with me on Drac and Friends. Sex therapy. Dr. Ruth. If you understood Dr. Ruth, you won the prize for the year. I listened to her, and she's a charming person. She taught at Brooklyn College, where I attended, and I met her at the American Booksellers Association one day. I think she's all of about 4'8", and I told her with this voice, Dr. Ruth, and she said, oh my God, what happened to you? And I told her I heard her once too often, and she laughed. She thought I was serious. I told her, no, I was only kidding. She has good character and a good sense of laughter and so forth. Harold Robbins was of the view, the writer, I work with him, helping him to get his voice back, that sex sells. I think that's absolutely correct. Sex does sell. And if you want something sold, it helps to write about it. And he always was of the view that I should put more sex into my books about voice improvement.
And you talk like that, is that a sexy voice? Would you like to go with me and so forth?
Woody Allen, does he have a voice that sells? Even Drac himself would say no. He doesn't want to be associated with voices like that. But if you have a Dr. Ruth voice, it's asexual. You don't have to worry about offending anybody, what you say about sex. It's called asexual. Woody Allen has what is called a kvetchy voice. It rubs you raw. Maybe I won't, maybe I won't, and so forth. Would you like to listen to Drac instead of Woody? I want to be your friend. I want to tell you how I feel. I want to tell you how I have this problem with your blood. Or would you like to listen to Woody Allen tell you about his problem in his life? I might choose Drac. What do you think? Or would you like Dr. Ruth? And you're going to listen to Dr. Ruth because she's a sex therapist. And she's going to tell you things that you didn't know or might not have realized. And if you did know, you would say, that's offensive. But when she says it, that's okay. Drac set himself off with a distinctive voice. We did it to him. Nobody knows how he talked, if he really talked, if he were real. But if he were real, would we like the voice we gave him? I want to be your friend. We listen to voices on television. I don't know if they get to you, but they get to me. Here's the latest 5 minutes, and they talk like right through their nose. Now, I know about nose talk because I was raised on the streets of the South Bronx, and they all talk like that. Hey, Morty, you want to do this? Hey, Drac would scare the holy hell out of us, and he did back then because it scared us, kids and adults. I want to be your friend. Scary, scary, scary. Voices do that to us. Don't they do it to you? Join with me. Drac and Friends. Do you have friends that turn you off with their voice or turn you on? Bond, James Bond 007. You like that voice?
Do you like a Cockney voice and say, oh, I don't know about you and so forth? You know, do you like that voice?
Would you believe, I understand that Roger Moore had a Cockney voice, and he became Bond, James Bond 007. Isn't that a fantastic change? Which says that we can become much more of who we are if we change our voice. And what do we do in our society? We don't change voices. I have books called Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. It's in the 19th printing. It's in the library. It's free. Winning with Your Voice and Stop Committing Voice Suicide. We may not like Drac's voice, but he certainly gets our attention. I want to be your friend. It's intimate. It's a bedside voice, isn't it? Think about it. And we say we like the bedside manner. I want to be your friend. Were he your doctor, wouldn't you like that voice with that accent? I want to tell you how I feel what your problem is. We like that. Women go gaga over bedside manners. The brutal truth doesn't make too many people's days or nights. We like it to be intimate and confidential. And I want to help you to understand what your problem is. It may not be so. In a recent column in the health section of the LA Times, there was a doctor talking about how he doesn't tell the truth to patients because he doesn't want to offend them. I find that a little hypocritical and doesn't make my day. But then again, I don't have that kind of bedside manner in working with people who want to improve their voice. I just tell them straight on what they have to do. Most people talk in the lower throat if they have a pathological voice. Drac didn't have a pathological voice. I want to be, he talked up in the face, the way we portrayed him. And he sounded very, very interesting if we didn't demonize him. I want to be your doctor. We love the accent, the intimacy of that accent, don't we?
You don't want to hear a doctor talk like that, do you? But a lot of them do. They talk like Andy Rooney. I don't know about you.
Andy Rooney is a great critic of what goes on. He has a humorous way about what he does. But would you like him to be your doctor?
I don't know what the problem is. We're going to think about it. We'll talk about it.
Or would you like Drek? I don't know what the problem is, but we'll talk about it, and we'll find out what it is about. And you don't have to come to the castle. Would you like a doctor that had that intimate, wondrous, easy, lilting, friendly voice? If you want to know about voices, go to the library and get one of my 3 books. It's all free in the library. Winning with Your Voice, Change Your Voice and Change Your Life, and Stop Committing Voice Suicide. On the screen is a new book out. It's on my website. You can get it free, download it. It's called Curing Hopeless Voices, called The Strangled Voice, Spasmodic Dysphonia. My medical colleagues tell me with their assurance and their guarantees there are no cures of the condition, and I report cures. So in that sense, I might be the Dracula of the medical profession, and it's interesting to find out I don't talk like this. I talk up here in the face, and when you talk up in the face,
not like that. That's the way I talk, and a lot of my pals talk like that. And they all talk like that, almost. Not all. The real people talked on radio back then, and they had very intimate voices.
Here's 5 minutes of late world news, and that's the way it was, Walter Cronkite. Walter had a surgery, I guess, that left him with a troubled voice, and I don't believe he was kind about hearing that. I thought he didn't have to suffer the consequences. But sometimes surgeries don't work out too well. I do things directly and simply, naturally, and I want to tell you, it's been my pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for joining me. I'm Mort Cooper. Change your voice, change your life. Bye-bye.